Manga Cafe is a type of cafe that you can't find in any part of the world unless you go to Japan. This is like a small room for introverted people like you would surely enjoy. It is full of manga and video games that you surely would like to try everything. It's heaven for an otaku and a gamer, but wouldn't it be more fun if you were to work in that kind of place? Getting to meet cute otaku girls and read lots of manga if you're a Chad enough? Meet our MC Izumi, a boy who works in a manga cafe full time. He knows everything like it's the palm of his hand, including the regulars that come in. However, there's one particular girl that caught his attention, and it's this light pink-haired girl who somehow looks like a 13-year-old who goes into a manga cafe and does whatever your brain perceived that to be. Remember, the FBI is watching. It all started with our MC greeting the regulars that came in, and it was Yano Hanami, the regular that the MC was curious about. She ordered a 90-minute long stay, which MC already knew. After aiding Hanami's private room, MC went to cleaning immediately, and the used private cubicle sure was a mess. But if it's that messy, MC actually gets fired up sarcastically. He was so worried that the next room was left as a mess too, so he took a small peek and found out that it was Miss Regular with her hands getting lost somewhere, that it would definitely get misunderstood. MC internally screamed to witness what was happening inside the cubicle, that it may not be dirty, but it did his mind dirty. MC immediately went back to the counter, huffing for air as he almost got traumatized by what he saw. After a few minutes, Honami went outside, ready to settle the bill. It was a bit awkward on MC's side, but he was professional enough to handle it like he didn't just see her yap or flap or something. After exchanging thank yous, MC's head collapses as he tries to forget the unforgettable. Almost got FBI chasing me while writing about this manga, so y'all exchange the favor by clicking that subscribe button, or your flaps will never get yapped. In this series of MC and Miss Regular, we have one instance when Honami comes into the cafe with something on her back, something that got MC feeling dizzy because of how visible that invisible clothing was. It's been like that the whole way there, something he couldn't believe. As usual, she ordered a 90-minute session. Thankfully, there weren't many people around the cafe, so Honami was safe to go straight to her private room. However, on that particular day, she was stopping on the shelves to browse what to read, which isn't great for MC because he's getting the front seat of the Honami dough buns. His tongue got the best of him and called out for Honami. He panicked for a few seconds, looking for an excuse for what to say without directly saying it. And that's when he thinks that he should point out her open bag. Denial is one way out of the awkward day. Hanami noticed this and replied that the button's magnet was weak, so it didn't stick well. After that random act of kindness from MC, Hanami wanted to return the favor by pointing out that his apron was inside out. If only she knew the sole reason why MC was acting that way. Credits to him, great save though. The next day, Hanami was once again in the cafe, but that day she kept wandering around for a while. MC assumed that she was looking for something, but his mind kept on drifting to the Hanami Hills. He needed to give her some assistance because he'd paid for it. However, Hanami can't remember the manga's name though, which is an otaku's problem. To know what she wants, MC asks what kind of manga it is, so Hanami assumes that it's probably a shonen manga with a boy that has cheat abilities and beats the enemy, then a girl gets captured, so he goes to save her. Sounds like Super Mario to me. There are too many mangas with the same plot that not a single idea popped into MC's mind. After that, Honami drew the main character with spiked hair, something almost all anime series had somehow. MC was having a hard time figuring it out though, but he must help her, so he asked for some more details about the manga, like whether the manga already has an anime adaptation. Honami replied that it already did, and she watched up to 5 episodes because of her friend's recommendation, and now she's looking for the manga to know what was ahead. MC gave it a few thoughts, but not a single idea sparked from what that meant. As MC brainstormed with the keywords from what Honami said, still nothing came up. Without losing hope, Honami noticed the keychain on MC's apron that seemed so familiar. It turns out to be the cat from that manga, so she was about to ask if she likes the same manga as well. But the position they were in was a little too awkward from other people's perspective, so she immediately got up and apologized. Aside from that, they shouldn't be conversing that way as customers and clerks. It's probably a culture thing, we can't judge them. Another day in the manga cafe. This time it's a peaceful afternoon with not many people in the cafe, so it's just MC, the gentle music from the wired music box, and the sound of a woman who was whining with her cute voice, a little Miss Regular girl. She'd been there since 9 AM and MC's mind was making up conclusions on what Honami was doing, but it was enough for him to feel that an elegant morning that particular day was feeling like a late night vibe. He can't help but be curious, at least he knows boundaries and doesn't take advantage of her. He does struggle to keep a straight face though. He immediately left the aisle or else he would look like a creep, but the cubicle he needed to clean was right next door, which was really awkward, and he was scared that he'd get to hear her do the thing. However, right after he opened the cubicle's door, there was silence in the whole place. It turns out that Honami was already done doing whatever that was. MC's mind was drifting everywhere, thinking that Honami was doing it again, which made the atmosphere more awkward. Just when they could move on to their normal life, MC's broom suddenly got really nasty and leaned on Honami, giving her a little spanking that made her scream out of shock. MC was surprised by the sudden burst from Honami, so he immediately apologized for his broom's actions, but Honami was even more embarrassed by the sound she made over that little touch. She doesn't mind the broom thing that much though, so she gave it back to MC. Their hands touched for a little bit, but it was enough for MC to notice that her hands were damp. You know what that means. However, you and MC were wrong because as he peered through the door, he noticed a switch lying below the table, and hearing Honami complain about her fingers being sore and her legs getting numb, it was all because of playing video games since earlier. As for the broom, Honami was conscious that she had wet it with her hands, but in reality, it was MC's hands that were sweating from gripping it hard earlier. He immediately bowed and apologized though, not because of blaming her for the damp hand, but because it felt more like he apologized for judging her situation without knowing the real reason. Ever since Honami started visiting the cafe, and even though it's only been a short while, Miss Regular has been gradually coming around more often. It makes you question if she really has a house. On weekdays, one person can use the two-person private room, meaning you can relax to the fullest with a big space. It also makes MC wonder if she's like this at her own house, which won't be answered until further chapters. MC was in the other cubicle, so Honami called out for him and said that the computer was frozen and wouldn't move. It's been like that for a while, but she probably can't time it properly. But now that MC's near, he'll be able to help her, and as a worker, of course, it's his responsibility. However, he was a bit hesitant about coming in because even though this dude works there, he felt awkward going inside because it felt like walking into her room. He was professional though. Even if he was panicking on the inside, he was composed on the outside, especially with Honami waiting. He excused himself and went to check up on the computer, all while Honami's scent and presence were drowning him. He thinks that the situation was cliche because that's usually the time when characters kiss, I think. But for this manga, what he'll get is a gentle side-by-side touch with Honami. He didn't anticipate this to happen, but he couldn't stop thinking about how the focal point was warm and that it was also warming his head. He was completely unguarded when it happened so suddenly that he barely concentrated on his job, especially feeling Honami's piercing eyes staring at him with unreadable expression. She just kept her stare at him, and MC was already cherry red with a mind moving fast like Sonic the Hedgehog. A few seconds later, Honami called out for MC, and little by little she was closing the gap between them. Guess what happened next? If your answer is them kissing, you're wrong. Honami just pointed to the meal poster behind MC and said that she'd ordered that. That encounter was so stimulating for MC that he passed out from a quiet heart attack. Another day in the cafe. Another day with MC and her unpredictable encounter with Miss Regular. This time, MC was busy cleaning up the storage room full of unwanted posters and other random stuff. He lifted up that heavy box and was walking in the aisle where Honami's room was. Since there's a gap in the cubicle, Honami's tights got caught up by the random rod that MC was carrying. Why isn't she wearing her tights anyway? Well, you can't clip your toenails when wearing it. However, Honami noticed that her tights were getting dragged, so she immediately chased after it, but it was too late. She panically called out for MC, but she couldn't scream that it was her tights or that she would be too embarrassed to say out loud. Without anything to guard her underneath but the skirts, she ran after MC and stopped her to get the tights that were dragged. MC apologized for not realizing it, but it was an accident, and Honami didn't let him apologize for something he didn't mean. Right after that, Honami quickly went back into her cubicle, leaving this poor MC curious as to why she had to take her tights off. Another day, another life in the cafe, and this time was special because they now had a stamp card. For a regular like Honami, it was almost like a Stanley Cup, so she immediately went to the counter, ringing the bell. MC was a little bit busy, but since they're understaffed, he had to entertain the customers somehow. MC was glad to see that it was just missing Regular, but this time he couldn't help but think that she was cute. Anyway, going back to business, Honami wanted to purchase 10 stamp cards, which was too much and impossible because it's limited to 1 card per customer. However, MC was happy to hear that their new offer was gathering some fish, and it's a good business thing. And so MC gave her a stamp card which required Honami to put her name on it. This was a day when MC got to know Miss Regular's name, and he even said it out loud. Honami noticed this, and he was embarrassed about getting caught. Honami didn't look mad though because she also knew his name, which was Izumi. Hearing that coming out of her mouth, Izumi couldn't help but get attacked by the cuteness of it, so he immediately went back to work as he tried to calm his beating heart. It's become a coin flip whether it'll be wholesome or L-word at this point. The next day, Miss Regular was in the middle of enjoying the massage chair. She's so small that the shoulder massage is hitting her head instead. She was making a cute weird noise that made MC sweat like crazy. He felt like he was hallucinating. The noises were getting so stimulating on MC's brain lobe that he was palpitating, trying his best not to jump to conclusions and think of something else. As for Honami, the massage chair was also getting so stimulating for her small body that she couldn't help but make that kind of noises. She grabbed the remote control and pressed the stop button, but nothing was happening, and the massage chair kept on going. She panicked, but she hesitated to ask for help from the worker in front of her, but she had no choice or that massage chair was gonna swallow her whole. MC heard that loud noise, so he immediately went to aid her. Hanami told him that the controller was broken, so she didn't know what she should do to stop the massage chair. MC approached her and took the controller to look at it, and as expected, it was broken, obviously. MC apologized for the broken stuff that made it more inconvenient for their customers and promised to stop the massage chair. He also checked up on her whether she was hurt or not. Thankfully, she wasn't, and she felt no point anywhere. MC unplugged the plug of the massage chair, glad that Hanami was safe and okay. She shook her head, getting a grip on the stable world, and thanked MC for saving her because if that had gone on any longer, then she might have been in trouble in many ways. But it's possible I might get addicted to it, this little girl really said. However, that statement scared MC a bit, and she told her that the chair would be down for maintenance for a little while. It's for his sake, or else he'll also go crazy from the noise she makes. If it's that stimulating, then I might need one for a science project. The weekend has come and the cafe is getting a lot of people, so it's a busy day for MC. He noticed the tissue needed to be replaced, so he was on the way to do those chores. However, he noticed that Honami was acting a little strange that day, something he was not used to. Her cubicle was full of sobs, and sniffing it made MC worried, especially since she was holed up in her cubicle the whole time. Earlier that day, he noticed her walking around and holding up the manga that MC had recommended to her previously, so he was wondering if she was having trouble with his recommendation. He was staring at that cubicle for a while like a stalker until Honami suddenly came out, so he turned the other way, scared to get caught. He acted like he was normally sweeping the floor while Honami walked past him. He looked up to get a glimpse of her, and he noticed her sad, gloomy eyes. He was stunned to see that, confused about what happened, so he tried to call out for her, but she was already a bit too far. He was worried that something was troubling her, especially when he saw her storming towards the restroom before grabbing a tissue. It seems that there weren't any tissues left, so he really needs to finish that chores. After a while, Honami went out and noticed that the tissues were replaced with new ones, so she took another one. After that, she went back to browsing for another manga, and MC saw her as well. They exchanged eye contact and Honami smiled at him. MC can't reciprocate that smile, but instead approaches her with an awkward smile. He asked if the manga he recommended wasn't that appealing to her, which was a wrong conclusion to jump to. Hanami said that the manga was very interesting, smiling widely as she talked about it. However, she decided to take a break from it, not because she didn't like it, but because her favorite character had died. Once again, her eyes glistened with tears, threatening to flow. She was undergoing mourning after that tragic incident happened, which was the reason she was sniffing and sobbing earlier. MC felt bad, but I'm sure he knows what it feels like. He gave her comfort by giving her some tissues to wipe her tears off, thinking that Hanami must be the type to immerse herself in the manga she reads. Hanami thanked MC for the tissue and said, "Izumi, you're so kind, aren't you?" It seems like Honami also noticed how MC always looks out for his customers really well, especially her. MC was turning red hearing the compliment from Honami, but that's not the only one. Honami smiled and said that MC is like her favorite character, so she told MC that whenever he feels sad, she'll be there to comfort her. She raised her hands for a hug, but she was just kidding. But hey, getting similarity with your crush's favorite character is the biggest compliment ever, and MC won in life. That extended his will to live for about 10 years, something you folks will never experience. Another day, another wholesome moment with MC and his favorite regular customer. That day, there was a new popular game released, and it immediately sold out within 2 days, even in the second round. MC was reading something on the paper when Honami appeared behind him, asking if the game was already sold out. MC confirmed it and wondered if she already played it. Honami replied that she hadn't tried it yet because she already won her favorite mascot, so she was satisfied with her prize. She even won it on the first day, so she's lucky for that. Honami smiled because she was happy when she got that mascot. She even kept it in her pocket the whole time. MC was glad to hear this and wanted to know if it's still there until now. Honami was glad to hear that it still lives in her pocket, so she tried to grab it. Rabiko, that mascot's tail, was even showing in her pocket, and MC was really supportive of her, giving her the same length of happiness. Honami grabbed the mascot's tail, and the moment she pulled it out, something was off. It turns out that it wasn't Rabiko's tail, it was something else. Panic was brushed on Honami's face that she immediately stopped and put the tail away. MC was confused as to why she suddenly put it away, but Honami didn't say anything because she was panicking so much that she had to face away. MC was a little bit persistent that time though, and he was really looking forward to seeing Rabiko because it's his favorite as well. Honami can't honestly tell him what really was the case, so she comes up with an excuse and says that Rabiko doesn't want to come out today. MC thought that she was just playing hard to get, so he was playfully saying to show it to her. However, Honami couldn't possibly do that and embarrassed herself in front of the store clerk, and seeing her face like that, MC had to stop. Honami rustled inside her pocket, trying to fix what she loosened, but it didn't work, so she had to excuse herself to go to the restroom. Meanwhile, MC goes back to his chores, thinking that Rabiko must be so important to her that she doesn't want to show it off. Not that he was offended about it though. However, as he was about to clean the aisle where Honami's cubicle was, he noticed something on the floor. It was Rabiko, so he picked it up to give it back to her. He was slightly confused though because he swore that Honami had just shown her the tail from her pocket earlier. After a few minutes, MC noticed that Honami was back, looking all frantic from looking for her favorite Rabiko. MC called out to her and gave it back, to which she reacted really relieved and squeezed the toy MC's hand. This got him blushing while he had no choice but to listen to Honami's thank yous. However, after a few while, realization hits him because if Rabiko was on the floor the whole time, then what was that tail coming out of Honami's pocket earlier? Boy, you don't want to know if you want to keep your innocent mind free from filth. The TL version of that one panel was crazy though. What does he mean by that? The next day was a sunny day, good weather, wait no, a perfect day for brushing the front of the store, though it was hot. And yes, it was most likely sarcasm, but MC did it anyway because he's the employee of the year. A few minutes later, Honami came, marching towards MC when she didn't notice the slippery floor of the store, so she slipped and fell on her back. There was a loud thud and now Honami is wet and hurt. MC immediately approached her as he checked up on her to see if he was hurt. She can still stand, but her skirt got wet, so MC quickly excused himself to get a towel for her. They both went to the counter where MC gave the towel and blanket for her. Right after Honami said thank you for the blanket, she immediately went to her cubicle without saying much, while MC was hopeful that it wouldn't take too long to dry. However, the moment Honami was in her cubicle, she was really uncomfortable with how wet it felt. Not the shirt, but what was underneath it. As you can recall, she fell on her back. Yeah, it's common sense at this point, so Honami felt the yucky and damp sensation. On the other hand, MC's boss told him that it was about time to put away the drying mat, so MC went to it immediately. At just the right time, Honami was also about to leave, so she neatly folded the blanket and gave it back to MC. They did their usual goodbye greeting by scanning Honami's hours spent in the cafe, and just like always, she was within the time limit. Then Honami sneezed, which made MC worried because the air conditioner must have set higher than usual that day and was too cold. Little did he know, it was something he wouldn't think, at least not at that moment. I think it's because it's a bit breezy, Honami said before walking out of the cafe. They said their thank yous and Honami left. MC was smiling as he turned around, ready to finish his chores, until he realized what she could have meant, so he covered his face out of second-hand embarrassment. The TL was cooking right after though. Weekdays have come and the cafe wasn't getting many customers. MC was in the back of the counter getting bored because there was not much to do, until his crush Honami, the regular, came in, and everything seemed to be covered in flowers. He asked her how long she would be staying, to which she said that she'd be there until 4 p.m, so that's enough time to keep each other company in silence. However, something caught MC's eye, and it was Honami's dirty hands. He asked her why it was so dirty, and Honami answered that it was because of a palm reading that she and her friends were doing to mess around and play with permanent markers. After that, Honami looked around the area like a suspicious cat, and since there were not many people around, she decided to see MC's palm for a free palm reading. MC barely said anything but ended up participating. Honami grabbed his palm and checked each line very thoroughly. Her touch was making her nervous though, because getting touched that gently by your crush is the reason why I live. Just kidding. Anyway, Honami was pointing to the lines of his palm and indicated each of them. For example, that one line near his ring finger is the heart line, and the more she pokes on it, it tickles MC. She proceeded to point out his caring line, something that he didn't know existed, and now he's intrigued by it. Hanami felt honored to explain it to MC though, saying that the caring line means MC is so good at being a caring person, which makes sense. He also asked if Hanami had strange lines on her palm, but she wanted to keep it a secret. MC respected that and didn't ask anything further, but Hanami got a change of heart and decided to show a little bit of MC. That little is nothing, because the next thing, there were a lot of bubbles with Hanami proudly talking about the different lines that can be found on her palm, like the intellect line, which means full of curiosity. Then there's the good wife line, and just as the name says, it's about Hanami being a good wife in the future. Regardless, MC was having fun with her though, happily listening as she talked about the good wife line that MC thinks she looks like a puppy. Right after that, MC pointed out the other ones, until he pointed out the bold line. There must be something about it, because Hanami turned her head back and said that she had forgotten what that line meant. MC wasn't convinced though, because it was traced very clearly, so there must be something interesting about what that line must be. Hanami was sweating all the liquid in her skin, thinking about the real meaning of that line, so she pulled back her hands and told MC that he was pushy. MC raised his hands as if he was getting caught by the police, and he apologized as Hanami told him that they should continue some other time. Yes, they're doing it again. Lucky him. Right after Hanami left for her cubicle, MC went back to his chair when he searched for what the line meant, and now that he got his answer, he fell silent. What could it mean, you ask? Thankfully, TL explained that it was the girdle of Venus or Venus line, basically saying that she had high libido or the good in bed line. As always, TL also left us with some unhinged version where Hanami pointed out the line that says MC jacks off a lot. As the day passed and another day came, we finally got to see MC asking for a break because this dude deserves it once in a while. He was feeling tired and went to get some ice cream when he saw Miss Regular on the ice cream machine looking really determined to make a perfect ice cream swirl. However, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't get it right and was spilling all over the place. Having to deal with this lady is almost like a break time anyway, so MC approached her, sensing that she needed guidance. He handed her a towel to wipe off the ice cream that got into her hand, to which she replied her gratitude before walking out the counter with her imperfect but delicious ice cream. After she was MC, who grabbed a cup and swirled his ice cream better than Honami's. It was a perfect one, and Hanami can't help but fall for the perfect swirl that MC made. For her, a perfect swirl is more edible. She told MC that she always ends up messy, so she wanted to ask MC for a trick on how to make a perfect swirl. MC doesn't mind helping her though, so he showed her how to pull the lever properly, which is pulling it down slowly and not too fast, or she won't be able to keep up while rotating the cup. Hanami gave it a try though with the proper guidance of MC, but those words coming off from MC and Hanami sounded really suspicious without context. MC sounded like a proud boyfriend though, complimenting Hanami and motivating her that she'll get it eventually. However, Hanami was looking really discouraged because she couldn't do it by herself, close to breaking down over an ice cream swirl. MC can't do much about it though, because that's the only trick she can teach her. So Hanami came up with an idea, which required MC to touch her so he could lead her with his hand and guide her on how to do it. MC was hesitant at first, but Hanami immediately withdrew her suggestion because maybe it would be too awkward. MC was reminded that he should help Miss Regular enjoy her ice cream more, so he agreed to help her. With the joint effort, MC believed that they would succeed in making it. He put aside his deviant side and helped Miss Regular get the perfect swirl. Their distance was close, and MC could feel Hanami's soft hand, but he did his best to compose himself for her. Oh no, uncensored hand-holding is a crime, sir. Her noises weren't helping his almost corrupt mind though. Hanami's hands were trembling. Thankfully, MC was there to remind her to take it slowly and relax her grip. With that joint help, they were able to make a perfect ice cream swirl together. MC was happy to see their work together, praising Hanami for doing well. They got so lost in the momentum that they accidentally put in an excess ice cream that ruined the perfect swirl. Hanami refuses to give up though, raising her sleeves and ready to take on another challenge for the perfect swirl. Wasting MC's break time at the same time though, but at least they get to enjoy the deliciousness together right after. Another day in the cafe, Hanami was in the study area, and it appeared that she was studying really intensely. MC was cleaning in the background, low-key peeking at what Hanami was reading. It turns out that she was studying origami, and she was not getting really good at it though. Her origami bird was looking so scrunchy that she was close to breaking down because she's bad at it. MC was on her side, something she was not expecting, but they got to exchange eye contact, so they greeted each other. Hanami immediately covered her work of origami, embarrassed to show it to MC. He felt bad for calling out to her because of how embarrassed she acted. One origami fell, so he took it and gave it back to her. Even though she was embarrassed by her work for now, she shared that there is an upcoming origami certification exam in their social studies class, so she's teaching herself how to make a crane. MC was glad to hear the context of this sudden hobby, but as he looked back behind her, the cranes she was making were all badly made. Not that he said it out loud, he must keep it to himself. Honami shared how bad she was, so she's practicing, which was nothing bad. MC asked for a few cranes to look at, so she gave him a few. He was so into watching it that it made Honami feel conscious, so she tried to tell him not to look at it too much because being looked at so closely is very embarrassing. It was no joke when she said that, because the way she covered her red face must mean that she was actually embarrassed by her work. MC unconsciously dropped the origami crane. He decided that he should at least gotta follow up with something else, so he pointed out one origami and said that it looked very strong, while the other origami looked like a very fast runner. They're all full of uniqueness. That was the best he could do as a way of complimenting Honami because he couldn't think of any other way. But it didn't last long for MC to keep up with that kind of image, and he said that he couldn't fold very well either, so he got no advice for her. In reality, MC is just not the type of person to talk about someone being bad at something. Honami didn't take that personally though, and said that they're the same. Still motivated Honami to do her best because he was rooting for her, the art of kambare. After a while of spending time studying origami, it was time for Honami to go home, and as usual, she checked out within her time limit. Before she left the cafe, she shyly gave an origami crane to MC as a way of showing her appreciation for his words earlier. "I'll do my best on the test, so will you keep rooting for me?" MC gladly accepted that scrunchy-ass crane, but even though it wasn't her best origami, MC still put it in a case and kept it on his bookcase. She's eventually gonna fill up his bookcase with notebook, and then one day he will rest his engagement ring there. It was all fun and games being a manga cafe clerk, right? Wrong. It's still a job and not a place to date, especially for MC who works there. It's inevitable for him to encounter hard-headed customers like this old man who aggressively asked for a damn refund, degrading MC as a worker. This old man wanted him to show a sincere apology, but MC refused to do so. This kind of instance happens more than often in the service industry. It's a day-to-day lesson in patience, so never degrade a waiter or a waitress. The old man was telling him that he ain't coming there again, and on MC's mind it was a relief because he didn't need them anyway. The day hadn't ended yet, and MC was already feeling really tired. It was a normal happening for him, especially on busy days when customers come and go, while he would be cleaning up their mess. But even after the storm, there will always be a rainbow showing, and MC's rainbow was Miss Regular Honami. She looked like she was in a hurry, telling the other clerk that she'd be staying for 90 minutes, her usual. MC noticed this, and the senior clerk's face was smirking at him. Maybe Honami was looking for MC, and he was pointing at him with a knowing smirk. The moment Honami found him, she marched her way toward her like a blinding light in MC's currently troubled heart. He managed to lift a smile now that she was present. Not to mention Honami was looking like an excited puppy that day, so something must be up with her. "You came here in quite a hurry. What's up?" MC asked her. It turns out that Honami was carrying good news, and it's about her passing the origami crane test. MC was glad to hear this news and congratulated her. His interaction didn't stop there because that kind of announcement deserved some reward, and Honami brought the perfect one, which was a chocolate ice cream. Besides, she was also excited to tell him that she got the rare hard Beano, and she exclusively saved it just to show it to MC. It was supposed to be a heartwarming gesture, but MC teasingly said that she was just showing it off. He didn't mean to say it out loud, so he quickly covered his mouth. "It's fine if it's just one." Honami smirked, not minding what he had just said. As you can tell, their friendship has now developed into that kind of bond where they feed each other chocolate. MC's heart is not ready for this, but he wants this to happen. In the end, your boy gets tricked by that trap, then a hint of betrayal can be seen in those eyes, but he can't get mad at her, so he accepts his fate and feeds himself instead. Regardless, his heart was purified with that so close interaction with her. That's for them to do in a private area anyway. In another encounter, Honami visits the cafe with an empty stomach. Spotting the ramen poster, her stomach grumbles loudly enough for MC to hear. She points to the make you even stronger spicy ramen known for its intense spiciness, which makes MC hesitant to serve it. He even wears a mask while serving it because the spice is overwhelming. Despite his concerns, Honami handles the ramen better than expected. As she takes her first bite, MC watches to see her reaction. As predicted, Honami struggles with the heat, covering her mouth immediately. MC approaches and says, "Please don't push yourself." After she swallows, she continues eating despite the sweat and tears. MC, impressed by her determination, brings her ice and cold water to help with the spiciness. Honami thanks him, takes off her cardigan, ties her hair, and prepares for another round. After finishing the ramen, Honami claps her hands, signaling she's done. MC is relieved, but seeing her smile prettily confuses his feelings. With a teasing look, Honami says, "You were watching the whole time, huh?" Caught off guard, MC starts sweating. Honami laughs, suggesting maybe he wanted some ramen too, making MC wish he didn't look like a creep watching her eat. The next day, Honami visits the cafe for her usual 90 minutes on Ladies' Day, earning 2 stamps. She quickly grabs her stamp card, but an unwanted card from another store falls out, making MC feel betrayed. Honami retrieves it and acts calmly. MC smiles, reminding himself not to take it personally. He stamps her card but wonders if she frequents the other store as often. Despite not wanting to overthink it, his face shows he's sulking. Honami explains she forgot the card was in her wallet, making MC appreciate her consideration. Professionally, Honami doesn't need to explain or apologize for having another store's card. MC knows the other store is spacious and well-equipped, but Honami prefers his cafe's at-home vibes, which makes him happy. Honami tries to rip the other store's card to show loyalty, but it doesn't rip because it's plastic. MC stops her, concerned she might cut her hands. They realize they just made contact, so MC lets go, and Honami grabs her stamp card and walks to a cubicle, her heart racing. Another day, Honami is excited about a special collaboration with her favorite bento shop. She orders a lot of food, including tempura, fried chicken, hamburger steak, and rice, enjoying it like it's her last meal. After finishing, she decides to read the manga but wants to satisfy an itch, so she grabs a scandalous manga discreetly. She hides in a cubicle to read it privately. The next day, Honami acts strange, avoiding MC. She slips and drops her mangas, and MC helps her pick them up, but Honami reacts nervously. MC apologizes for grabbing her hand before saying, "Please forget about it." Honami, with tears in her eyes, explains she doesn't want to forget because it makes her happy. She was embarrassed because she didn't understand her feelings, so she ran away. MC, flustered, apologizes again, and Honami reveals she was scared they wouldn't talk like they used to. MC's heart races, and he finally says, "Me too." Honami smiles, and MC realizes how beautiful her smile is. On his day off, MC runs into Honami at the cafe. They have an awkward but sweet interaction, learning more about each other's studies and interests. Honami's diet complicates MC's plan to give her sweets, but she invites him to share them later. She runs laps around the store to burn calories, determined to enjoy the sweets guilt-free. MC finds a sticker of Honami with another person, making him overthink. Honami explains it's from a night out with a friend. Her friend Shiyu teases them, but MC is relieved to know the context. Honami sprains her ankle, and MC helps her, showing his care. Honami blushes at his touch, and they share a tender moment. Honami experiments with drink mixes at the cafe, creating a terrible concoction. MC drinks it for her despite the taste, calling it a special grade cursed object. Honami stops him to avoid an indirect kiss, but MC admits he doesn't regret it, and they share a sweet but chaotic moment. Another day in the store, we can see Honami with glistened eyes while looking down, and then there's MC smiling, which gives off a very suspicious angle. But it's nothing like that. It just happened that their cafe got a special collaboration with a food stall. Honami loves that bento shop and was glad that there's a special collaboration. As expected, Honami ordered a lot of side dishes full of tempura, fried chicken, hamburger steak, and rice. She ordered so much food that it overflowed on her plates, which was the best thing that she had seen, because what is better than seeing all your favorite food on one plate? She ate that food like it was the last meal she's gonna have, and after a while she was able to finish and satisfy her desires. She was so dazed, drowning with bliss, that she felt like she's gonna fall asleep. It's not healthy to do so, so she got up and decided to read manga. However, there's one desirable thing that she didn't get to satisfy, and that is the cat underneath her that is itching. She found the perfect manga to feed the itch, but it would be scandalous if her favorite clerk would see her get it. She glanced at her surroundings, listening to the sound of steps and voices from MC before quickly grabbing the manga and storming out of the aisle. She went to a cubicle and covered her door with a blanket. Now that she's alone, she read the manga with a red face before hand-feeding her kitty. Well, you've been waiting for that to happen. The next day was a busy day for MC, and the time came when Honami would be booking for another 90 minutes. They went through the process without saying much aside from MC saying, "Please enjoy." However, Honami acted strange when she walked out of the counter, and right after she grabbed a few mangas, she walked into a cubicle while MC was cleaning it, to which MC said that he just tidied up and it would be done for a little bit, so Honami decided to find another cubicle instead. On the other hand, MC was wondering if she was avoiding him, so he wanted to do something about it and talk to her like they usually do, all while looking at Honami carelessly slipping and dropping her mangas. MC approached and helped her pick up the books with a smile on his face, but the way Honami reacted was different, as if she just got scared. In reality, she can't handle getting close to him because she blushes madly. With that, MC bowed and formally apologized to Honami for grabbing her hand before. "Please forget about it," said MC, as if reminding himself that he is merely a shop employee who has no right to touch her, even if it's just an accident. When he looked up, he was greeted by Honami's angry face, and now MC is sad because he really made this girl hate him. After that, Honami put her books on a nearby table and said, "Is that all you wanted to say?" She grabbed MC's hand and said that she doesn't want to forget that incident because it's her that should be sorry for that time. She didn't want him to forget that because it was the moment when she felt happy. Although she felt embarrassed, it was because she didn't understand her feelings, so she ran away. MC was looking flustered and Honami turned away to wipe her tears while mumbling, "It's not right, it isn't Izumi's fault at all." Seeing her in that situation triggered MC's vulnerable side, and she wanted to cry as well. What bothered her most was how much he wanted to talk to her with all her heart, but words wouldn't come out, all he could say was sorry. Still, part of him was relieved. Honami wasn't done though, and further told MC that she was scared because she thought they weren't going to talk like they always do, even though she came into the cafe. After all, it was fun talking with him. That got MC's heart beating like crazy, but nothing came out of his esophagus, spending a few minutes to take up the courage to himself to say, "Me too." Honami's eyes glistened as if stars existed in her pupils, an illusion from her tears. Finally, she smiled at MC, glad that their feelings were mutual, especially now that their problem had been resolved. At that same moment, MC can see how a smile fits Honami well. Damn, is this a necktie on my neck or a rope? I hope I'll have pretty GF to tell me what it is. Time comes when a Monday morning is a break day for our hardworking MC. A good time to read his weekly manga before lecture while sipping coffee. Nothing like a good cup of coffee while imagining your crush's smile. It made MC palpitate after a single sip. He could barely focus on the good coffee and manga on his table because he was acting really weird and kinda gross. Little did he know that the same woman he was daydreaming was behind him, and they made eye contact, which is illegal and appropriate. I'm just kidding. They greeted each other a good morning, all while blushing from the interaction. MC said that he was there as a customer that day to read a book, but Honami was looking at him suspiciously. He didn't expect her to come by so early in the morning, and lucky him, his crush sat right next to him. However, this woman was looking at him very intently, like he had something to hide, other than his feelings for her. The atmosphere was really awkward, so Honami broke the silence and said that it was her school day, which is done online. So she's there till then. It's also why she's able to come by the cafe during weekdays, while MC was killing time before heading to university. They don't know much about each other aside when they talk in customer and clerk manners, but this time they get to talk casually as acquaintances. And that's something Honami was looking forward to doing, that she felt like she could score 100% on her test. MC felt funny, but it's what you call love. Honami stood up and was ready to leave, thinking she was a bother, but MC grabbed onto her bag as he said, "Would you like to talk a little bit longer?" while bowing his head like a shy cat. Because he was brave enough to say it, they were able to talk about their studies and mangas, something that all of us need in lone times. We really got baited from the first episode, huh? Not complaining though. Another workday comes and we can see MC seriously gripping a plastic bag full of sweets. It was supposed to be a reward for Honami's origami aptitude test, and since there was a lot that happened in between, it's better late than never. MC took the time to take some notes on the Honami's favorite sweet and compile it all in that bag. The woman in the Target was wandering around the counter aisle as if looking for something. It was good timing for MC to ask her about food, but she slapped her cheeks and said that she couldn't because she was on a diet. With that, MC hid the bag quickly behind his back, being really supportive by praising her. However, Honami was also quick to notice the bag full of sweets, which he didn't expect. Honami panicked, not wanting a misunderstanding with MC, so she apologized. Still, she can't help but ask if it's for her, and she scolds herself for acting greedy because she's losing her dietary restrictions. She knew that MC was being considerate, or probably sulking because she mentioned diet, and since there's no point in lying, MC admitted that it's supposed to be his gift for her aptitude test. Since Honami was on a diet, he was just supportive of her. Honami was blushing, feeling her heart rate increasing. "Izumi, what time do you work until today?" she asked. MC replied that it would be after an hour, so Honami invited him to eat it together. MC doesn't mind it and actually loves it, but it's Hanami's diet that they should worry about. It seems that Honami can't give in to that temptation, so she has to run away from that place to save herself. By that I mean she went running around the whole store to burn up some calories, and just in time for MC to clock out, she was still doing more laps. He tried to stop her from pushing herself too hard, but Honami refused and ran more laps. MC couldn't understand why she was doing this until he realized that she was fighting herself, or more like she was fighting for the sweets. It was the ultimate Honami step, and the sweets that were fueling up this fire. Right after she's satisfied with her run, she can now eat those sweets guilt-free, which makes MC fall again of how manly she was. He gave her a cup of cold water and a towel, and even though MC didn't know what OK Corral was, he was pretty confident that Honami was gonna eat 90% of the sweets. One workday, as MC was cleaning the tables, he noticed something on the floor that he thought was trash. It was a print sticker that showed Honami and another person. It seems like it was wet, that it washed out. But the writing that says "Love Love Date" got MC to overthink that he looks like he was getting NTR. He had to calm himself and not overthink it as if they got something real. Right on time, Honami came by and looked at MC, thinking he was sick of how flustered he looked. She noticed the sticker on his hand and thanked MC for finding it, scared that she lost it because even though it got wet, it was very important to her. MC doesn't know how to react to it, while Honami keeps on talking about how that person calls her Hona or Honya, depending on the mood. It made MC look dead on the outside, which convinced Honami that he really was sick, so she compared his heat with hers, touching his forehead. However, someone called out to her as Hona, showing a short-haired woman who was scolding her for leaving her just to flirt with the clerk. It looked like a Tangyaru, and her name was Shiyu. Upon seeing the denied lovebirds, Shiyu knew that the boy was the one that Honami kept on talking about. Honami's eyes widened, panicky, telling Shiyu that it was nothing. But Shiyu greeted and introduced herself to MC as Hona's substitute boyfriend. She pointed at herself and said that she was her true love, which made Honami really embarrassed. MC was still in a trance that he was introducing himself like he was a robot with limited words. Shiyu couldn't help but laugh at his reaction because in reality MC was really confused, but the way those two interact seems like it's normal to them. The girls were talking about the context of the photo, which was when Honami ran away from home and Shiyu got really worried, so she ended up hanging out with her all night long. That was something uncalled for, and Honami didn't want to talk about her embarrassing past, so after thanking MC she marched towards the exit, leaving MC with a peaceful mind. One day in the manga cafe, Honami was at the rack somewhere and was struggling to get a book from the bookcase until she pulled too hard that it caused her to slip and fall. MC, thinking he was Flash, went up to her, but he missed at 4 feet. Honami burst out laughing for making too much noise, while MC was not proud for not being manly enough to catch her. Thankfully, she wasn't hurt by the fall. The bookcases are crammed because it's a rainy day, and when it rains, mangas get thicker from the humidity. MC grabbed the book for Honami and slipped another black book. Honami noticed it and was curious about the black book because it was empty. So MC explained that it was for rainy days like that, which is a dummy to make space for manga on the shelf. Without much filter, Honami admitted that she thought it was something indecent, looking really disappointed. She immediately realized what she had just said, so she tried to explain it, but the sprain on her ankle stopped her. It seems that she twisted it, so MC immediately guided her to a cubicle with a chair on it while he got her a cold compress like a flash this time. He came back so quickly and handed her the cold compress, he turned back to give her some privacy, but she was so clumsy that it fell on her calf. Let's ignore the 4 toes. So MC did the honor and gently put it on her ankle, the right spot where it hurts and where it feels good. Honami could barely contain herself that she couldn't help but blush at his touch, so she hid her kitty away. MC accidentally looked up and saw how Honami was keeping it to herself, which was almost a bad idea. After it was all done, Honami thanked MC for doing his best and how he saved her just now. That statement was enough as a reward, so what they need now is a stepladder to help her grab a book and not be a creep and peek. Another source of entertainment for MC is to watch his favorite customer do something unhinged. This time it includes sodas. While waiting in line, Honami saw a customer mixing 2 drinks, which sparked her inspiration, and she also wanted to do the same, so she grabbed her cup while MC looked at how that one would play out. It gave Honami a while to think of a good combination of drinks, that it got that Yu-Gi-Oh reference on the forbidden drink baby. After that, she was able to come up with her version of Honami Mix, a fusion of potions and poisons. It was a chaotic drink, and MC was disgusted by it. On the other hand, Honami was happy with her experiment and showed it to MC before she drank it. That's how happy she was with her drink baby. Without hesitation, she gulped that liquid, and it turned out disgusting as predicted. She took multiple sips and it still turns out awful. Honami had no choice but to drink it all though, so MC was being manly and insisted on drinking it for her. No matter how much Honami tried to stop him, he was persistent and drank it all. It was so bad that he called it a special grade cursed object, something he needed to take responsibility for. It was so that he even saw his afterlife too early. After a gasp of life, Hanami was calling out for him, obviously panicking. However, she said something that MC didn't quite catch on, so he asked what it was. Hanami didn't lie, and even though it was embarrassing to admit, she said she stopped him, or else it would be an indirect kiss. Those 2 words got MC's life back and his blood was flowing on his face. With a stern face, he also admitted that he didn't regret it at all. So in that case, Hanami wanted to make another one for a more indirect kiss, but before they could even proceed to coitus, MC would be seeing his ancestors again, so better not proceed. One day came when Hanami came to the cafe looking like a fine woman who was ready to go on a date. MC's heart started beating fast until he realized that maybe this girl was really going out on a date, so now he started overthinking. "Do I look weird?" asked Hanami. Of course, your boy didn't agree with that, and now he fumbled with his words and unconsciously threw a bunch of compliments to Hanami that even her heart couldn't contain the sweetness. She smiled and thanked him for it though, which was supposed to attack MC, but he was too occupied to think she was going on a date. Since she's gonna be picked up in 2 hours, she'll be staying there by then, which was recommended. After Hanami went to her cubicle, MC was sulking on the counter until he looked up and saw her cute face too close, asking why he was down. She tiptoed as she patted his head and said that the person she was going on a date with today taught her that a pat on the head would cheer a person up. Still, it made MC feel sad. He was reminded that he had no right to feel that way because he's just a mere clerk. Even so, it relieved him because of how Hanami smiled at him. Setting that aside, MC said that Hanami looks like an older sister, which makes sense because she's going on a date with her older sister. That's when MC realized that he felt the wash of relief flowing through his veins and felt ashamed for sulking over nothing. Now MC got the energy to smile back at her, to which Hanami was glad since she wanted to return the favor of MC always making her happy. With that, they both greeted each other before they went to their worlds. As we go to Hanami's life aside from the cafe, she actually hangs out with a tomboyish Tangyaru girl, Shiyu. She decided to tease Hanami by being gay, which always left Hanami flustered no matter how many times she told Shiyu to stop. In Shio's defense, it was different at that time because it was fresh, so improvising was a must so she wouldn't get bored. Hanami was too innocent for it and completely agreed with Shio. She's always been that cute in her eyes. They'd been teasing each other, which was normal, and Shio would act like a jealous NTR girlfriend who was sad that Hanami kept on talking about Izumi, so she wanted that day to be theirs only. Hanami didn't notice that she's been talking about Izumi that much, so they decided to go on a girlfriend date together. They went to different places, tried out some bikinis, and lastly, they went to a photo booth. The best way to replace their old sticker. They all had lots of fun, and Hanami couldn't get enough of it that she wanted to go to the sea next time where she would be able to swim. However, Shio was silent the whole time, so Hanami had to check on her. It seems like Shio got a troubling question she had to ask Hanami. Is it a little uncomfortable hugging? It wasn't anything bad. Shio could just feel the bump on her chest, which was getting a little too big. Shio meant it in a complimentary way, but Hanami took it the negative way. So the moment she got back home, she went feral on the internet and purchased something impulsively. What weird thing could that be? The next day after her purchase arrived, Hanami went to the cafe looking red and uncomfortable. MC was low-key worried about her weird behavior because the way she panicked for air wasn't feeling right. He can't aid her for now because the manager asked him to clean, so he had to do his chores first. Although he couldn't stop thinking about Hanami, he didn't notice he was backing up a little too much that he hit her with his back. Hanami was about to fall down and made a weird noise, but MC was in time to catch her this time. She looks like she is hurting and doesn't want to be touched. At first she denied what was really happening to her body until MC heard something from her clothes that didn't sound right. No, it's not that, it's actually an abs massager that you're hearing. This is because Hanami thinks she's flabby, and that's why she doesn't want to be touched. Most because Shuo sent things to her previously, so now she's trying to burn fats most lazily with that abs massager. MC felt pathetic for thinking differently until Hanami asked him to put it on him, which was a bad idea. Even though her warmth was still on the pad, that wholesomeness faded when the massager was turned on, and now he looked like he was having period cramps. Can't blame this man, it vibrated, so I can't blame him. After we had done Hanami's part of life, MC also got his lore. When Hanami went to the cafe, she was greeted by a woman who looked like Hancock Boa's alternative universe, and she was starstruck by her charm. Hanami just wanted to pass a word to MC, but since he was not there, the black-haired woman was kind enough to pass it to him. Hanami didn't stay for long because she was gay panicking, while on the other hand, MC just got back from his break. The black-haired manager named Yui told MC about a cute girl stopping by for him, so he overreacted. Yui doesn't like it when he talks to her casually in the workspace, so she reminds that to him. Although these two are childhood friends, they act more like siblings. Yui was impressed to know that MC was making a move to a high school girl, to which MC was annoyed because she won't tell him what Honami said. Yui has this persistence since before that she's giving MC some threats, like taking his second kiss, screaming mommy in all angles. MC was quick to silence himself and quickly pushed her away from him. The way he looked at her angrily got her thinking that maybe he was also aiming for her, not expecting that Toshi boy had now fully grown. They were like cats and dogs fighting all over again until Yui did the "I'll show you it" card, which made MC red as a cherry. Yui just wanted to prove that MC could be a leecher too, which MC did not approve of because he can't just do that to people. Yui was looking at him unconvinced, thinking that what he meant by it was, "Only do it to me." Of course, that's not it, but Yui is still assured that she doesn't do those things other than him, so now sweet Honami has a strong rival. This woman was able to lure everyone in the cafe like she was the reason why her business was blooming effortlessly, which was expected of her being the manager. But being friendly like that wasn't her real face though. It's draining her, but it's what she does.